I mean, injuries they really take a life of their own. You have an expectation of what it might be, and then as you go through rehab and just through the whole process of trying to come back, for Q, he had a knee injury last year. Going along with this knee injury, he's just not in position to play and help us. He was hopeful, of course, we were hopeful in trying to help him that process would have been quicker, but it's just not. And even a few weeks ago, just hoping that it would just keep progressing, but he's just not there. So we decided, along with Q, that he's just not ready, and he's just not going to be able to play this weekend, and just shouldn't expect him back for the rest of the year.
Remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you said that, like, worst case, you thought you might be able to get him back for conference. At that point, did you kind of think he was going to be out, but you were holding out hope, like, if he can maybe, like, I don't want to rule him out yet, but
right.
I don't think he's going to come back. I'm just holding out a sliver of hope.
It was kind of more of communication with Q at that time and how he was feeling too, because it's really about him, how his knee is, the confidence in the knee, being able to practice. He still hasn't gone through a full practice yet since December when he got hurt, before he got hurt. But I'm an optimistic person in general, and was optimistic that he could get back to full strength, but it just hasn't come back that way. And then in speaking with Q and where he's at and how he's feeling about his body, he'd really like to apply for a medical red shirt and see if he can come back next year.
Does he need surgery or anything, or what's the actual recovery? Because I know initially it was 4 to 6 weeks, and obviously it's a lot more severe since we're pushing 3 months.
It was at the very initial phase. It was 4 to 6 weeks, and then when he got seen by the doctor, when the swelling went down, they said, you know what, this could be 6 to 8, and really plan on 8. They said it was the severity, the grade, it was more severe, and then also with his lingering issues from last year, and he's got an older person's knee right now, and I can relate, but we just didn't want to rush it back, and had his health really in mind, and also with the potential where he is right now of having a medical hardship and being able to come back next year and be stronger and more healthy, it was certainly something that he wanted to research.
What's your familiarity with the hardship stuff? And I guess he played, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 games or so? Like, what do you think the likelihood of him getting one would be?
Again, I'm optimistic. I feel like the rule itself is if you play less than 30% of your season, and he played 7 games, and you cannot play you can't play any of those games beyond the halfway point. So he didn't play any games past game 15. And then there's other aspects of it, but those are the games. So he falls within that, just like Janiyah does. And then you just have to, there's a lot of documentation and doctor's notes and things like that just to show, where this thing has been. But that's all part of that process.
Turning to actual basketball with this week, it's hard to believe that you only have 2 home games left. Has this season flown by for you with your first year?
Yeah. Kane and I were talking about this last night. Like it's gone by so fast, but yet I feel like I've been in Ruston for a very long time. Feel like I've been around these players a very long time. I really enjoy this group. We're really just keep trying to fight and keep trying to get better and better. But it has flown by. It's hard to believe that we only have 2 games left here at home.
The defense, obviously, giving up 91 points to UTEP wasn't what you had hoped for,
no.
Obviously. Especially in conference play, when you look at like FIU and North Texas, the defense hasn't really traveled well. Why do you think that is, and is that a concern, with the conference tournament rolling around, because you are going to be playing on the road or in a neutral venue but not at home?
Right. There's no question. We need to be more consistent defensively, and you want defense to travel. And we've been an efficient defensive team in conference play throughout the year. We have not been in certain games, and some of it could be style, some of it could just be where we're at and how that other team's playing. But we need to look at different things and different ways to play our best defense now here in the last 2 weeks of the regular season and the conference tournament.
I didn't really watch the game, I'll admit that, but I saw some highlights where it was a lot of like easy buckets. Was that a good way of summing it up, that they were getting a lot of, they obviously shot well,
Yeah.
contested shots, but were they getting too many easy buckets for your liking?
No question. I think what they've done so differently from when they were here is they're now starting a 4-guard lineup. Their power forward, who started here, is now starting at center, and they're just playing much faster and really spreading the floor. And they're scoring 90 points a game in the last 6, and they got the same on us. Against our game, our plan was, hey, we need to really prevent penetration and not let them get into the rim. And we did some of that early. Then they started burying a lot of threes. And we've been a very good 3-point field goal percentage defensive team this year. And so we started clamping on that a little bit more, and then we started giving up some more 2-point field goals. So we've got to find that balance. We've got to be able to take away both as best we can against teams that play that style.
The entire year the league has kind of been a little top heavy with like 4 or 5 teams, but it seems North Texas and Rice have been playing a lot better. I know they're relatively young, at least Rice, especially with Marcus Evans. Why do you think specifically those 2 teams have been playing a little bit better of late?
Well, I know in North Texas's case, they've really built some continuity. They've got a lot of balance now inside and outside. They're very big, and they bring a 7-foot, 280-pound guy off the bench. And then their guards have really gotten into a rhythm with their output scoring. Same with Rice. They're scoring the ball at an incredible clip. They play very quick, and they've got some guys that can really score the ball. And I think in our league, it's a scoring league. A lot of teams are scoring the ball very well, and if you can defend and that defense really limit those opportunities, you're going to have a chance on any given night because teams are scoring the ball so well.
Where do you feel you stand with 4 games left? Other than defense, you have to obviously pick that up, but other than that, where do you feel you are at in this kind of final push?
Well, I think we've improved as the year's gone on. I think we've managed different losses from injury and even some long-term injury, some short-term injury. I think we're in a position right now where we still have room to improve, and we're working on that. I think with these 4 games left, we've got opportunities to certainly move ahead and get better and position ourselves in the conference tournament. I think we just need more consistency on both ends of the floor. We've won games different ways, we've lost games different ways, and we just want to be more consistent with playing the type of defense we need to play and offensively taking care of the basketball and getting good shots, because when we do that, we've shown that we can be very competitive.
How's Eric's health? I know I heard you on the radio, I believe, Saturday or last night, saying he obviously wasn't 100%, but where do you think he'll be at for Thursday?
Well, I hope he's a whole lot better. I mean, time helps with that. I mean, he's obviously didn't play Thursday. He played. He really gave us a Warriors effort on Saturday. He wasn't really where, of course, he'd like to be, and he's working very hard with Justin, our trainer, this week to get himself back to as close to 100% as possible.
In terms of, I know you want to cue obviously with senior, but Alex, been with him for a year. Can you kind of quantify what he's meant to the program in terms of your just season with him? We know with the records, with him being the winningest guy and looking at the stats, he can finish top 5 points, assists, steals. But from your perspective, what kind of impact has he had?
Well, I'm very appreciative of Alex. I think, going into a senior year and having a brand new coach and staff and really a fairly brand new team in some ways, I think he's handled it all very, very well. He's been a leader. He's been motivated to have his best year, but more than anything else, I feel like he's really bought into what we've tried to do and do whatever he can to help the team, because that's really what he's all about. The guy is very competitive and is all about winning, whatever he can do to help the team win, and that shows in his play.
Have you noticed anything differently from him in terms of, I remember he said with some of those records that he was kind of like a weight off his shoulder. I know you always say that he plays hard, but can you sense that this is like the end of the road, or does you ever talk about that with him, kind of like
Yeah.
cherish the moment? Because a lot of people seem to do that when things are wrapping up.
Yeah.
Especially for him.
You know, he's so even keeled in so many ways. But we did talk the other day about how fast this has gone by. In 4 years of college basketball, the type of success he's had, but most of all, the type of experience he's had here in Ruston at Louisiana Tech. He said people have been, he knew it was going to be good. He just didn't know it was going to be this good, how people would embrace the team and program and him. And but I have certainly told him, and I tell the guys all the time, embrace and enjoy college basketball. There's nothing like it. And Coach Skin on our staff, who played several years of pro ball after, he'll tell guys stories all the time of just how different it is at that next level. And this is a great time to be alive, playing college basketball, spending so much time with your teammates. And Alex certainly recognizes that and wants it to last as long as possible.
Last year, with the three seniors when they were going out, I kind of wrote how fans would be wise to pay homage to them with their last home games, and the crowds came out. Obviously, different circumstances considering playing for a conference championship, but what would kind of your message be to the fans, specifically in regards to Alex, who has had such an impact and done so much for the program in terms of the last two opportunities to see him play the Gold Devil?
Well, I think you'll look back years from now, and with all the tradition that's been here, with the types of players and teams that have come to Louisiana Tech, he's going to go down in history as one of the best. His record as a player, as a winner, the individual accomplishments, his contributions to those games and those teams. So I just encourage people, come back and watch and support him and his team these last two games, because it's he's one of a kind. It's hard to make guys like that.